get started. So welcome everyone. I am Christy Jones. I am the programs manager at IAAP. And like I mentioned, I'm so excited you all are all here today. Let me advance my slides. So what we'll cover today is we're going to see if Summit is right for you, why attend Summit, share some key resources, attendee insights, how to register, and next steps. And this session is designed to be information, but also leaving plenty of time for questions. The first session we hosted had a really robust question and answer time, and so I certainly want to leave some time for all of that. But just for fun, one thing I added to this session that I did not have in the first is a poll. So I am going to launch a poll, and if we could take a minute, if you see that pop up, you could just answer this question really quickly. What's your Summit vibe? What are you looking to experience at Summit? We're going to allow just a few seconds for answering of that. I love it. Most people are really interested in the hands-on learning, followed by a very close second of inspiring keynote speakers. Connecting with amazing admins is very popular. The expo, not a lot of people are interested in the expo, but for my very first summit I ever attended as a member, that was my favorite part. So I think the rest of you will be pleasantly surprised with how exciting the expo is. Well, thank you for taking the time to do that. We'll have a couple other polls throughout the session here. So that was a really fun way to do that. I am sharing the results really quickly so you can all take a peek.
Strong piece in Harry.
All right. So moving right along. Why Summit? Summit is a powerful opportunity to connect with the IAAP community and invest in your professional growth. This event, I just want to make sure. I am sharing my screen, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. This event offers a wide range of learning experiences from success skill development to technical training. Whether you're just starting out or looking to level up, you'll find value in sessions like coaching, workshops, skill building seminars, and roundtables. Hold on one second. I just want to make sure everyone is muted. There we go. Who attends Summit? Summit is for administrative professionals of all backgrounds and histories. This is an opportunity to learn, network, and come together with the community. Two key resources if you are considering Summit is the brochure. This document serves as the Summit agenda and highlights all sessions and offerings. And then we also offer a Making the Case. This document is a guide to help you ask for support from your employer to attend. If you check it out, it is located on our website. The goal of the document is for you to personalize it so you can directly ask your employer for support with this kind of draft. Hopefully on this screen, you are able to see some conversation starters. I have 3 examples listed here. Asking for support to attend Summit can feel intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. These conversation starters are designed to help you confidently open the door with your supervisor or HR team, whoever it is that would do your approval. Whether you're highlighting the value of professional development, aligning Summit with team goals, or focusing on return on investment, these prompts give you a strong foundation to begin the conversation with clarity and purpose. And we can come back to those if these are parts that you are super interested in. And how to use these tools. Share the Making the Case and the brochure with your supervisor, HR team, or whoever does your approvals within your role. Personalize that Making the Case document. That'll help you with your ask. We always suggest that you connect your Summit goals to your role or your team goals, either through professional development or maybe creating new opportunities. But really emphasize that return on investment, the ROI, what you're going to bring back and how you could share those insights with your team. At this time, I'm going to share another poll. All right. What is your summit status? Let's get a gauge for what this group is, where they're currently at. Oh, some people are already registered. That is very great. Looking to register soon. Just here to learn more. That is fantastic. I want to go, but need to talk to my employer. So glad you are here. I'm exploring if it's the right fit. I absolutely love this. For those of you that are still exploring or interested in learning more, we have 2 more summit interest sessions with a different flair coming up. This Monday at noon, we are doing a summit interest session, but it is going to be focused on the expo, the experience of the expo and organizational memberships, if that is something that you are interested in. And then the following Monday on May 19th, we're going to host an interest session to focus on certification, how you can engage with the certification team on site. And if you are looking to start that journey, you'll be able to connect with them directly. And so that is going to be how Summit and those spaces align in the coming weeks. So that is very exciting. Thank you for sharing all that. I'm going to share the results. Lots of people here are already registered. Fantastic. We're going to have other opportunities to meet outside of this space too. Planning to register soon. Oh, and a tie for I want to go but need to talk to my employer and just here to learn more. Fantastic. All right, let's move right along. So now I'm going to introduce James Edgar. He is someone who has also attended Summit in the past, and he's going to share his story about how he got to attend. So James, I'm going to kick it over to you.
Okay. Now, most of the time that I have been a member of IAAP, I was working for Duke Energy, which is the country's largest regulated electric utility. And everything there was localized. If you wanted to go to a conference and you wanted to use your company credit card, you talk to your immediate manager. And then the first time I tried this, was the executive assistant for a VP, and this was the no nonsense guy. So of course, at the beginning of the year, and then we had this quirky little meeting called a performance review. Y'all ever heard of that? So when the agenda came out for Summit, I would take that document that I had with my performance review with areas for improvement, and beside each one, I would put the description and title of a session at Summit that was going to address that very thing. And my VP, when I showed it to him at our weekly, one-on-one, he said, "So you thought about this a little bit, huh?" Yeah. and so that's what I would do. And then of course, yeah, that's where you can get that ROI that Christy talked about earlier. And then when I got back, I would put together a document so how I was going to implement what I learned going forward. And that particular strategy right there got me company funding on several occasions. I was, again, just with most companies, it's what's in it for us, and if you can show what's in it for them, then you're going to have a lot better time getting their support.
Thank you, James. Are you going to be available to host some questions at the end of this presentation?
Yep.
Great. Thank you so much. Now, I'm very excited to introduce Michael Eskridge, who I just met on our first Summit info session, to talk a little bit about Chicago. He's a former resident, and he will, I believe, also be on site for Summit. And so to kind of just chat a little bit about Chicago. Michael?
Yeah, thanks, Christy. Hey, everybody. I'm Michael Eskridge, Chicago native, but actually live up in Minneapolis now. So I'm excited to head back to my hometown for Summit this year and hopefully get more people excited about the expo, since I will be there representing my company, Troop, which helps companies with planning offsites like, your exec retreats and whatnot. So would love to, show you how not only my company, but other companies can help you out with making you look like a hero at your organization by, looking at new technology and other tools, and working with kind of my main customers, admin professionals. So I would love, if you have any questions about Chicago, feel free to let me know. I lived in the city for almost 10 years and worked downtown, kind of near where the actual expo is at, when I was over at Expedia for a while. So it's an amazing city, and we're going at an incredible time of the year in the middle of the summer here. So the summertime shy, as we call it, will be just in full bloom. So if you have questions about the city, safety, things like that, let me know. I'm here in the chat.
Thank you so much, Michael. All right, so we are almost done with the presentation portion of this, and I will turn it over to the attendees to ask any questions. But before we wrap and move on to that, I do want to offer, I'm going to put some information in the chat. If after this call you are still needing help garnering support or questions on how to make the ask, I host office hours, and I would love for you to join them. They are the first and third Wednesday of every month, and we meet via Zoom. I'm putting those details and how to find me in the chat right now. Come and bring any questions you have about Summit, even if you're already registered and you're like, I don't know which sessions to attend. Or I love when people come with ideas to office hours of sessions they'd like to see in the future, or different things they would like to see at Summit or any of our programs in general. So definitely excited for people to come to office hours. And so before I turn it over to questions, I'm going to launch one more poll. So how can we support your next steps? One of the ways that I would like to still, support you is also in the chat. I'm going to add my contact information. If you want to reach out about anything IAAP Summit programs. And then last but not least, I'm going to share the link to the Summit webpage. This is where you can find the brochure and the making the case document that we talked about. Oh, we have a pretty interesting, it's nearly not split, but a lot of people are looking for info on organizational membership options. That is fantastic. That is our call next week. So let's connect about that. A lot of people are good. They're just excited to register, and that means that we've done our work. So that is fantastic. And some people are interested in a one-on-one conversation, and I would be absolutely happy to do that. So I'm going to share the results right now. But thank you for participating in my poll. That's the first time I've done that on a Zoom call before. So now I have a new trick up my sleeve. And now I am going to stop sharing my screen, and I am going to open the floor to questions, comments, ideas. I'd love to hear from those on this call. You can come off mute, or you can put them in the chat.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Hello.
I am very excited, and this was very informational to get the information about Summit. I'm really excited and rearing to go. I have recently, just in April, I took my spring CAP exam. Thank you. And so what I will need to personally pair along with my making, the case letter for my manager will be those results. So that's all that I'm really waiting on, so that I can really make it make sense for my organization to support me on a trip to further my education and my time with IAAP. So I just wanted to share that, and I've really enjoyed being a member. Not quite made a year. August will be my first full year as a member, and I've been enjoying it myself.
Thank you for sharing that, and congratulations on completing that exam. I took it myself in 2023, and so, it hasn't been too long, and it was a lot. So, and I love what you said about making it make sense to others, because that explains, how valuable it really is. One thing that for those who are recently certified or have been CAP certified for, ages, for Summit, we use an event app. And within that app, it's going to allow you to make your agenda. It's going to allow you to take a deep dive into the speakers, the expo experiences, connect with other attendees. But there's also a handout in there for your recertification points. So it kind of plots the agenda day to day and makes it very simple for you to add up the recertification points from which you attended. And part of this form also helps set the stage for your professional development goals as part of your performance review with your employer. So it's kind of one worksheet that will help recertify you and set the stage for your next performance review with your employer. And that will be located in the app. All right, who else?
Christy, for those who aren't able to attend in person, will there be virtual options this year?
Absolutely, yes. So the full summit is virtual, and virtual attendees have access to the same amount of recertification points as those who are on site. So the same documents, same access. The virtual attendees will also have admin visionary moderators on each one of the sessions to really engage you through conversation if you are not in the room. So that's kind of an extra value add for those virtual attendees. I did also see a question in the chat that we have some midday sessions that are available. We do. They are an add-on feature. Those are only available to people on site. They were not part of general registration since they are like a premium feature of our event, but the registration links to those sessions are on the website. So if you are interested in checking out those midday sessions, which are the tech forum, the dream and develop experiences, and some speed coaching and mentoring with industry experts. And so those details are on our website. For members, I think the tech forum and dream and development are like $5, and I think it might be $15 for those who are not members. But don't quote me on that directly. I'm a little foggy on that part. Let's see. I do have a question that was sent directly to me about virtual attendees and the high cost compared to the in-person cost. And I think the best case you can make for your employer to support a virtual registration is you really are receiving the same experience as in-person attendees. You are going to be able to connect in the room with those speakers and presenters. So when they open up the floor to questions and comments and any activities, virtual attendees are part of that. I mentioned that we have admin visionary moderators, but they're also present in the room to take your conversations from the chat, your questions, and share it in those spaces. So while you're not actually on site, you have access to all of the same things any of the attendees have. Let's see. Yes, I do see that someone would like to see the registration link in the chat. I will do that before we get off this call. So yes, I will share that one more time. Is there anyone who would like to come off of mute and ask any questions about Chicago or any other questions in general as I check in on the chat?
One question we had last time, Christy, was about which airport to fly into, which I think is helpful. Like, depends on where you're coming from, but I know like O'Hare is probably going to be the have the most options to come into. It's going to have United as a hub there. American's pretty big as well. Southwest flies primarily into Midway, but you may find some flights that do go into O'Hare as well. But I know there's some interesting things going on with Southwest and baggage now, so they're now like every other airline that's out there. But getting from either of those airports, I personally usually take like a yellow cab or the blue line, just depending on where you're staying. But Ubers are kind of tough to find at O'Hare, and honestly, just line up at the yellow cab, and you can even pay via a credit card there if you need to get a receipt, but entirely up to you on how you want to get there. And do budget at least 45 minutes or an hour almost to get into downtown because there's construction everywhere all the time. And secondly, it's just the traffic's pretty bad. So just give yourself a little bit of time getting downtown from either of those airports.
That is helpful. I did experience that. I just did my first site visit to this location 2 weeks ago, and I flew into Midway, and the traffic was pretty long. I want to say it's 5 or 6 miles, but it probably took me about 45 minutes to Uber back and forth, and it was the middle of the day. It was like 2 p.m.
Yeah, probably anytime between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. Like I used to live maybe 4 miles from downtown, and it could take me 40 minutes to go 4 miles. So, yeah, so double check, like look at the blue line, like totally safe to take the blue line downtown in the middle of the day. And honestly, it's pretty similar in time. So it just depends on your baggage and maybe who's paying for it too. So keep that in mind.
Love that.
Being
Any
unfamiliar with Chicago, what is the Blue Line? Okay, I live in
Yeah.
Houston, Texas. We have buses and cabs and Ubers. What's a Blue Line? Is that a bus?
It's a good question. So the blue
Train,
line,
right?
oh, sorry, James. The blue line is the public transportation system in Chicago is called the CTA, or the Chicago Transit Authority, and it's comprised of the blue line, the red line, the orange line, right? So those are all the train lines, and so they are a mixture of underground and above ground. So they call it the L because it's an electric train. So just double check. Like there's some really good app, like Google Maps does really well if you want to navigate via public transportation. And you can even use like your phone and Apple Pay just to tap to pay. So you don't even need to get a ticket once you get down to there. But the cool thing about O'Hare is there's literally a stop in the airport. Just follow the signs and it'll take you down I-90, which brings you right into the loop. And the loop is pretty much like where I still call it the Sears Tower, but it's actually called the Willis Towers. But it'll bring you right downtown. I'm not sure if it'll bring you that close to the venue, but if just double check it because like honestly, you can maybe save 20, 30 minutes sometimes by taking it. So just depends on how comfortable you are with public transportation.
I will also share on my site visit, I had a little downtime in the evening and I went on probably about a 6 block walk around our hotel to kind of just familiarize myself with the area. And a really short walk, I want to say it was 2 blocks away, was like a nice little market that had, you could get a coffee or a donut, but they also had sandwiches and kind of convenience shopping if you didn't want to like go out to eat every evening. But there also was kind of a restaurant district very close by. I ate at a really great Italian place that also had Chicago style deep dish pizza. That's pretty popular. And it's 1 block from our hotel. I did see a question in the chat, and I don't know if Michael, you can talk to this a little bit. Someone was curious about sightseeing during downtime. What would you suggest?
Yeah, so the architecture tour, I have gone on it like 3 times as a local resident, and it's always been a different experience. It's actually rated, so I don't know if it's still rated that highly right now, but at one point it was rated higher than the Louvre and on like TripAdvisor.com. So it's a really cool like history. Like they talk about the Chicago fire and like how the city got rebuilt and how the river used to like do all these crazy things and how we dye the river green for St. Patrick's Day. And but it's just really unique just to like look at the buildings, and it's just like fun to be on a little like it's actually not a little boat, it's a huge boat that you're on, and they have like a little open bar on there too if you want to grab a cocktail while you're out on there. So highly recommend the architecture tour. I mean, they have those double-decker buses if you really want to like go on a Chicago gangster, like old school Al Capone one. It's kind of gimmicky to me, but I am a big foodie, so I spend a lot of my time in the West Loop, which is just not very far from where we're at. It's maybe like a 4-minute Uber ride just to get over. Could be 20 minutes if you go during rush hour. But Randolph Street and all of that area over there is just like a food mecca. So if you're looking for a specific restaurant, like start looking now because some of them book up like months in advance. My favorite over there is called The Girl and the Goat, and it's the chef who won. Yeah, she won Iron Chef years ago.
Yes.
So yeah, she has a couple different restaurants over there. You have to get some deep dish pizza or at least try it. It's funny because like a lot of Chicagoans don't really like love deep dish pizza, but it's what we get our name from. It's just yeah, it's there. But I like Lou Malnati's. There's another one, Giordano's, that people like, but honestly, I think it's too commercialized and one of those things. But there's a very low key one called Pequod's, but that's kind of further out of the city. So those are the kind of top three. Grab a Chicago hot dog at Portillo's. It's like super cheap. Actually, it's not even that good anymore because they expanded. You can get it out. Like I can get it in Minnesota now where I'm at, so
Oh,
it's not the same.
Hmm.
Um, but other than that, like honestly, walk down Michigan Avenue. There's some great shopping down there. There's a river walk for free stuff, like right around, like right downtown. So there's like a really cool, like it's called City Winery that's right on the river. Adventures during the day. Yes, the museum campus, Robin, is incredible. So Chicago is known for some of the best like museums in the country. So my favorite one is actually the Museum of Science and Industry, but it's a little bit further down. But the any of the art museums are great. The Field Museum is incredible. Shed Aquarium is under construction right now, so it's not as good as it usually is, but I like the Shed and I also like the planetarium too. And they're all very, very close to where we're at. So it's over by Soldier Fields where the Bears play. But it's kind of tough to get out there just because it's on like a peninsula. So there's only one road that goes out there. So if you're getting anything about Chicago traffic from me, pretty much going anywhere is going to take you at least 20 to 30 minutes, even if it's only 5 miles down the street. So I like to walk. But yeah, definitely some stuff to do on the museum campus if you're looking for museums.
thank you. I had seen a question in the chat about restaurant recommendations, and I see Michael shared something to find kind of restaurants in the area. Some of the steps, like some of the things that happen next after this call is once you register to attend Summit, you will receive a know before you go, which is a really big document that talks about all the ins and outs of Summit, like what to wear and the weather. And we'll share a similar link of restaurants in the area. So we won't provide a direct recommendation, but we'll share a Chicago specific kind of like a Yelp or something like that, where you can see what you're interested in, all of that. Other things to consider is after you register, you'll want to reserve your hotel room as part of the block. I believe towards the middle to end of June is when our block rate is up. And so then you would pay normal travel costs. So reserve your room as quickly as you can after you receive approval. Book your flight to Chicago. Southwest is our preferred partner, and we do have some details on rates on our website if you connect with Southwest. And then for those who register, we do have other connection opportunities. So we do a pre-summit CNC, which is like a community connection event. So we gather everyone who's registered to kind of meet and network and try to make some connections before we're on site. And then for those who are going to Summit for their first time, whether it be virtual or in person, we will host a designated kind of orientation for those people to make sure they have their needs met before they are overwhelmed when they get on site. So there's a lot more to come once you are registered. Any other questions? Feel free to come off mute or put it in the chat. I do not know if the Cubs are in town that weekend.
They are.
They are.
This person just asking how long does it take to get to Wrigley Field?
Yeah, from where we're at, honestly, you can jump on the red line. And during a Cubs game, it'll be filled with Cubs fans. Again, super safe. Just I always say just go north on the red line. Like you have to go pretty far south on that red line to be in some of like maybe not the best parts of the city. But yeah, I'm a Cubs fan, so go to Wrigley Field. Wrigleyville is just amazing. But it'll probably take you 20 minutes on the red line to get there. You could take a cab as well, but I would not recommend taking a cab to the Cubs game because they're going to drop you off probably 4 or 5 blocks away from Wrigley. But you can get off at Clark and Addison on the Red Line, and it literally drops you off next to the stadium. So, and again, it's filled with Cubs fans, so it's a fun ride actually.
That's a shame to hear. I'm a Cleveland Guardians fan, and I still have PTSD from 2016. So be nice to me.
I apologize, James, but the city, we needed that. It'd been like 100 years for the Cubs, so.
Right.
But yeah, even on that note, actually, like, no, actually, I used to live right next to Wrigley Field. So if you go on Clark and Addison, there's tons of bars and restaurants. Like, go grab a Chicago hot dog while you're down there. And then the other thing too, if you're looking for more free stuff around that area, like the beach is really, really cool. If you just want to like walk down the lakefront path, right over by Oak Street Beach, it's really, really beautiful. You can see some really awesome views of the city. And then Millennium Park, go get your picture by the Bean. I still don't understand the Bean, but people always go, even though I'm from there. But really, really cool scenes like all in that area. So the conference is in a really sweet spot, to be honest. Like you'll see everything. And again, July is a great time to visit.
Thank you. Anyone else? Questions about Chicago or Summit, or tips on how to ask your employer if you've already successfully asked? Do you have anything to add for the others? No? Well, I do hope to see some of you on office hours. If you have questions or need support, I'm happy to help in any way I possibly can. I would like to give a special shout out to Michael and James for attending this call and sharing your knowledge. This is the second call you've been on, and you've been a huge support. And so thank you for helping our community. Let's see. Yes, I will stay on the call as people leave to ask any questions. But I do want to say, thank you for taking the time to join us today. I wish you the best of luck in asking for support to attend. And even if your employer says no, starting the conversation that you are interested in being a lifelong learner is a critical step in showing your employer how important it is to invest in you. So reach out if you need anything at all. I'm going to stop record, but I will stay on the line for anyone who wants to chat. So thank you all for joining us today.